There we go. Hey y'all, Trendline Boys there. Sorry about the computer thing. I said to fix it, I didn't. But anyway, so just a quick update. I don't think we need to take too much time on this. Let me see. This is probably gonna be a waste of time on the video itself. I don't remember where we were last time, to be honest. Oh, um, okay, so we ended there. So let's go 4 hour. So I think the last time we talked might have been here. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I went to sleep here and then I woke up here and then I got up here. Anyway, so my main thing for here is I think everything looks pretty decent to still go up. We're above the averages. What I kind of expect here is the 4 hour looks good. We finally hit our buy point. 4 hour bulls are coming in. Shout out to geez, I can't remember the name. Was it Avenue? I think. I always forget. Yeah, shout out to Avenue Work for mentioning the 2 hour. Which obviously, I mean, it sounds obvious, but I haven't looked at it since I got back. So we can actually see on here a nice spot. That is beautiful. So right there, and then we end not on it. It's not the same, but it's nice because it's very close. And the nice thing we can see about this is now it ends up. This looks like a bullish candle, even if it's pushed down here. There's a reason to buy it because you can, for manipulation purposes, there's a reason to buy it. And I think that's kind of important to note for me anyway. So I think all these look pretty decent. I mean, this is a long time sitting here. It's kind of hard to expect this to come down. Past that, my assumption is that we are going to. Okay, this is off. Oh, that's because we're on the day. Okay, okay. I was like, it's supposed to be a perfect hit, but on the day, slightly different. But so I expect we're just going to range here. I don't think we're really going to drop to under 37.4. And I really expect the day to finish, and we'll really see here on the week. So I think I look at it this way: 2 hour we had our buy here, the 4 hour we had our buy here. This is where I got in at like 302. I got my positions at 302. The Eastern time when that like 2 minutes after it switched, and then the day it looks pretty good. I mean, this has to. There's just so much upwards. Like there's just so much on this. My point is, I don't think there's anything on the day enough to really be determined of the direction of this. We're tapping on this. I don't know why people are. I get why people are shorting it. I might have if I had extra money, um, but it's I wouldn't have held it for long. Maybe a percent or something. It just seems ridiculous anyway, to be honest. But the point is, we come to here. So the same thing as before. We're gonna have this 7 year trend all the way 2015 right here. So 7 year trend, we're still on more or less. Um, so just to kind of reiterate, we can see the strength. Don't look too much at it. Just look at the stuff in the middle. Like don't look at the lines. It's going to hurt your eyes. Just look at the ranges. I look at the colors, not so much the lines. And we can just see that there's a lot around this stuff, around the center, the median, the red line. So really now let's zoom in. Not let's do this too first. So this is the start right here. Obviously we touched here on the week back then, but we really had a start here September 28th. 2020. We didn't really touch it. I think that's fine. I don't really want to make too much out of this, but I do find it interesting to see that. And I am looking for us coming under. I trust my 375, my 500 holes. That's why I do this analysis based off of these. And it's been pretty spot on so far. So I don't know what these big players are looking at. I've been pretty right on a decent amount of calls. Um, One was surprising on the buy, but everything else after that made sense. So everything has been going in line. It almost makes me think I don't know, maybe just like a whole bunch of like billionaires are just using whole stuff, but everything does show the same stuff at the end of the day, so it doesn't matter. Point we're getting to is that we'll get here, and so right here we'll see we have 3 6, so 6582, and that'll go to, so we go 582, so that's about 456, so 450, and then another 450, yeah, about another 430 right here. So what I'm going to do is add another 430, 440, and then we get to about 37,910. So for the weak buyers to come, or the people on the time frame, I think it's really important for a lot of this stuff to have a space open. I think a lot of stuff goes off of having open space. I see it more often than I feel like a lot of times I'll see something like this where just on the other one it goes and goes. But I will say for the week here, it did end. So if I was looking at this on the week, I mean, that's a bullish flag for me, and I don't care. So what I'm looking for is 3,700, 37,910 finish at least somewhere in this area. Any of this stuff could be fine, I suppose. If we look at the line, we'll be here. Yeah, and it kind of so let's see what it would be for the median two to look like if we ended above it. So 910, yeah, so 910 also lines up right here, and it gets you pretty much just right above it, which would be pretty nice. And so for me, I think it'll push up off this, and we'll also have the 375 there as well. And I think it's some decent amount of room to go up. I expect it to sit here in range throughout the day. I think this is the perfect time for the week. I mean, it's what, Saturday, right? We have one candle, and then we're on the new week. So to me, I mean, there's no reason to mess with any of this stuff really, as if you're a week buyer or if you're someone that trades on the week until now. So I think really because the day's indeterminate, the 4 hours indeterminate, they probably look bearish to people, but I don't think it's bearish or in enough of a way that it's going to go in any direction. I'm also hoping that the people that trade on the week, the big boys, will also hold the price. So I don't want to see the price shoot up either. I just really want to see it sit in this range. I don't think I can come down that far, but I think I can come all the way down to here. But anywhere in this range is perfect setup. Just maintain here. That's all we have to do. 2 hour look sketch, but does it look sketch enough within a day to go under all this? I don't think so. So that's essentially where I'm at right now, what I'm looking for, and that's what I think. I don't think we're just going to dive off here because I think the ball's in the court of the week time frame traders, and I think it's too bullish for them to not. But I also look at it in the same way as if we end on slightly under this, I think this looks equally just as bad. So we'll see, or it could technically maybe come all the way down to maybe like the 34K again and then range up. Maybe we see something like that. But I would be more likely to, I just think it makes a lot more sense with this and with, so let's just show this real quick. If we just look at a 4 hour, I don't like repeating, but there's no way to link it. So right here on this switch over at 3 o'clock, this is when I went bullish because we finally started in it. Coming in it doesn't matter. Starting in it is what matters to me. So we start here, and if we look at some things, like we could probably see it we have to go to 30-minute because the intervals. So let's see. So right here we have 5, and then we have this extra bullish pressure. But also to note, this, I mean, it's whatever, 200 some on this, doesn't matter. But you can see there's a clear resistance here, and it just pushes up past it. Stuff like AMD, I believe, was right here also, and you can see it very nice on that as well. I think some other ones like GME also performed pretty nicely as well from 94, finishing almost up here, which, I mean, this has a great chance to just push up. I really like it. So I think also based on people that would want to just make a lot, like everything's linked. So if I wanted to make if I'm a super million, multi-million billionaire or whatever, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me to have Bitcoin get pooped on if everything looks like it can have a nice gap up, because I'm going to be positioning my options for the next week on Friday heavily, because if you can control it, in a certain direction, you're going to make a lot of money on it, or they're going to be volatile, therefore you make a lot of money. It just makes sense. I mean, they stopped it from coming up all these other times. Here's our target. I think I have my calls for here. I'm just going to sell them out here anyway. I don't care. Maybe I'll reposition. But let's see. It's just a lot of decent stuff. I think also in here we can see some niceness. Also, I think on the 4 hour, we also see here we broke back above. What I was thinking for a rejection, but we never got bought back up quick enough on stuff, would be to see if we came up. So I just think this is kind of the way I trade and I analyze stuff, and I look at the relationship between the stock market itself, the potential of like options expiring, and just really for everything. It doesn't matter if it's like a Bitcoin thing or not, because I just see everything so involved. And I think really for the American markets, I think there's just so much that's looking at the Chinese markets, and there's a lot of the Chinese markets that have to do with Bitcoin too. So I think all of those have a potential impact on it. Bitcoin's always trading, so I think Bitcoin with a bullish pattern can have a decent impact on these other ones when it's in that position. The Hang Seng, obviously, it has a decent impact because nothing's trading when the Hang Seng is and American stuff is trading. I believe at most, maybe I don't remember when they closed. I think, was it 10 2 4? So I think they just closed, maybe right as pre-market's opening or something like that. But still, so it has that effect of doing stuff just while the market's not open. And I think that usually has effect. If I look at this, I'd say this would probably go down here. I think it could definitely just open down and then bounce. I wouldn't say it's that bad. This is on the 4 hour. On the day, I do think it's a little sketchy. I don't like ends like this, like straight up. I don't, because then it ends pretty much under and it could push up. But usually I start out more bearish on things like this. So on the Hang Seng, I'm not a huge fan. I am a fan of like manipulation of their markets, and I am a big fan of shooting up and then, we're not necessarily getting rejected here. It might have been turned down, I'd call this, I guess, but like I said, you have to go up to something to get rejected. So I mean, that's really quickly, but I'd still like to see, I still expect something like this, and then maybe if it gets rejected there, we could see something like that. But then, I have to see also if we open back up, this could be great, to attack these areas. We'll see what happens where this is around that time. Maybe it falls down, not too worried, but I'm not too worried about the Hang Seng creating some big deviation or bearishness on everything else. Um, so we'll see what happens, but I'm still looking for that main Bitcoin end. Um, but oh, this actually looks pretty decent now. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially it. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, I think a lot of people are gonna hop on this with shorts. I think the weak traders are just gonna keep it here. I don't think there's really a big reason to sell this. I guess just from the price action perspective, we've already had a clearing. And I don't know what it's called, but I call this a clearing essentially. So everyone that wanted to sell here, they would have had stuff on the book. I guess DCA Army or whatever, they already sold if they wanted to. And these people were given a chance to buy in if they wanted to. And if we look here, this range has been hit, this range has been hit, if you want to even take the averages. So really everyone's been able to get their position in this area. So I don't think like this matters. To me, this bearishness makes sense to not want the price to go up. But it's just too hard for me to see on the day that we don't just like at this point it doesn't make sense, like at least somewhere to here. So this is my main target, 42. I guess we're 27. We could do 40, 42 to excuse me, anything in this range. It would be interesting to see based on how bullish everything is, but looking at AMD, I would say this would be more similar, but depending on the shorts, who knows? I wouldn't position for this, and I mean, all take profits would be, these three areas. But it would be interesting to see above. I mean, because if for some reason we can get above, and then, I'm just mainly looking for the normal stuff. We can get back under or back above, and then, a nice open in one of these places. I think that looks really nice. We can attack this area, maybe get sold down here, and then try to work our way up. I think that'd be pretty cool. A lot of the times the whole averages are ranges that we want to come back and hit. Like we see, we come super far down. You see, we got targets. We can start seeing resistance on the opposite side, support, resistance. And if we go in closer, I don't want to call this. So we can see resistance, then we see support. Oddly enough, it just got sold back down through. But I wasn't looking at stuff around this time, so I can't say anything about that. But so we do have an upwards target of both of these. I think that we're sold so far under. So I would like to see, instead of seeing it kind of get turned down, I would like to see a rejection for a more clear movement downwards. Yeah, and I kind of think that's it. So it's pretty straightforward, this area, and then we got this as a top right there, or as a higher up target. I mean, that's all the way at like 45. Yeah, 42 is around here, 45 is up here. Puts us in the green area. I mean, we'd have to sit and do stuff, but I mean, if people want to attack this as a shoulder and we want an actual shoulder, I mean, could easily see something up in this green area, right? And really, so if we do a line across right here, let's do a horizontal, let's adjust, let's get more weighted. Let's do here. I like this because we have tips here, weighted tips. Uh, kind of weighted here, but in the middle of the sell downs, we have the bottoms here. I love this. Great here and great there. So I really like this, and I think this lines up well over here too. Point being is if we come up into this area and then depending on how we fight, if we say people aren't looking at the holes, I mean, if we say it gets over the holes, that's I always say it looks good. But if we ignore the holes for a second and just say, okay, we're up here and we're breaking through stuff, or we're gonna fight for, I mean, technically, even from here, honestly, I could let me do this because I actually also could see this as well. I also could see this as another possible bullish movement on this. So if we look at it from this perspective, essentially getting back above the 500, so we'll probably go around, and this did come down, so we'll probably be somewhere here. So if we do get something, I mean, this is a lot more likely it'll find resistance, but if we were somehow able to pass up and just have shorts and then kind of just screw around here because it's way too high and no one wants to buy it here, and then we kind of come back down, I would be super interested to see if we can hit this red line again, maybe. Um, maybe like kind of like a teetering back off or something like that. We got a higher high than here, um, a little bit of teetering off, and then that would be cool because that would be an awesome kind of great bull spot. It's kind of hard to see happening, but I could definitely see. And the interesting thing about that is we'll have these averages coming down pretty quickly too as well. So this gives a pretty nice opportunity to make or break. So this would be really cool. And if people do have like a left shoulder head, right shoulder, like I was saying before, that puts us in this area. And even with that line that we were talking about earlier, um, we can see here that like if this is a target for anybody, we've broken over every average um, after breaking under it. So I just think that's incredibly bullish, and I just think that's a really strong case to keep going up. I mean, we'll have to see by then. It's hard to I don't make predictions on that long of a time. Obviously, things are subject to change, but I think these would be some pretty interesting points to look for change. But I'm going to end the video there. I think overall I'm bullish. I'm not bearish. I mean, we have to see a lot. For me, the weekend is everything, or the end of this week candle is everything for me, or it's the only thing I really care about taking a look at. And I think it's the only thing that's worth taking a look at. So we pretty much need to hold this spot. 37,910, 37,930 is fine as well. But it can go back down. I don't think it matters what we do today unless we fall under, I guess, 37,000. I think it's like 500 or 400. Then it looks a little sketch. But I just don't see the week now that we're on the last day, and we essentially are deferring to the week because that's the next big candle. Wait, is it the month too? Oh no, the month ends. Month ends in a little bit, I think, right? 31st. Yeah. So the month doesn't end yet. So I don't think the month candle matters right now. But near the end of the month, I think the month candle definitely could matter, and maybe I'll check that in a second. I don't know, but yeah, I think this is the most important thing right now. I don't think all the other stuff is that important. I hate looking at the month, but let's see. I don't think this chart does anything with the month, to be honest. I never set it up like that. So, okay, if we assume some of this stuff is pretty decent, I mean, this isn't that bad. I don't ever look at it like this, but it's not that bad, really, to be honest. Okay, so what I would say on the month, what I would be looking for is what we need to hold is this is really hard because when did it switch over? So we'd have to hold 39K. But that's not that bad at all because I think on the shorter time frames, that essentially just means we're on the top side, which should be pretty easy to hold. Yeah, this 39K range is pretty easy to hold. So yeah, I mean, I think the week will push and make the month look at it like it'll be in a decent place, and then we'll see that finish above the red line on the month, or yeah, the median red line on the month, and I think that that'd be pretty nice. Um, Now we haven't really sat in one spot like we have for some of these other months. So from that one perspective, like I said, it's usually good to have a gap. But so we might sit here for a bit. I could still see 45K on a super buy up and then trickling back down. Anyway, that's just some things I see. Take care, guys. Hope you're healthy. Hope you're safe. I'm feeling a lot better, which is nice. So, all right, take care. Good luck trading.